according to Groves, quote, 1 in a trillion, 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 end quote. That's the probability that all of the prophecies about Jesus would be fulfilled. And you probably wouldn't bet on those statistics, but according to Christian tradition, that's exactly what happened 2,000 years ago whenever Jesus was born. So today I want to talk about the setting around Jesus' birth, the science behind it, and its significance. So first let's talk about the setting around Jesus' birth. So Matthew 2, 1 through 4, the Bible talks about how King Herod noted Jesus' birth, and the people of Jerusalem did as well, and the wise men or the magi. According to O'Callaghan, the wise men or the magi were probably astrologers, and so they were probably looking at the stars to kind of figure out what was going on. And also on April 7th of 6 BC, Jupiter passed in front of the moon, which is what they associated Jupiter with royalty. So they could have been looking into that and thinking that something was going on with Jesus' birth and kind of predicting it that way. So now that we've learned about the setting around Jesus' birth, let's talk about some of the science behind it. So in Matthew 1, it talks about in the Bible Jesus being born to Mary and Joseph, and we know that Mary was a virgin who was impregnated by the Holy Spirit and gave birth to Jesus, but still remained a virgin. And the University of Cambridge did a study on virgin births where they looked into what could have been the science behind this through different animals. And one conclusion that they came to was parthenogenesis, which is the scientific reasoning behind a virgin birth where a female can give birth without the help of the male. And so that could be one explanation for the virgin birth of Mary. So now that we've learned about a little bit of the science behind the birth of Jesus, I want to talk about the significance of the birth of Jesus. So you've probably heard about AD or BC, right? So that kind of is like the timeline that separates everything. And AD stands for Anno Domini, according to Jarvis and Coleman. And BC stands for Before Christ, which is kind of the namesake of Jesus' birth. And even though his birth wasn't in the middle of AD and BC, everything was still kind of named after his birth, and it was still a significant event. So now that we've learned about everything, to kind of wrap up, the setting around Jesus' birth was unique, and we know that the science behind it was also unique, and that it was a significant event in history and truly a marker in history.